The Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's The Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Yesterday was Earth Day, and Greater West Bloomfield was spreading the joy of the holiday all across the community thanks to the great people at West Bloomfield Parks. They held their annual Earth Day celebration, bringing families outside to enjoy a beautiful day of nature and learning about our planet. I was at the event to talk to some parents, kids, and conservationists to hear about why events like these are important in helping the environment and getting kids outside.
When I was a child, I was able to go out in the fields and the creeks and the streams and chase butterflies and catch frogs. Today's children don't really have that chance. These events like today give the kids an opportunity to see nature, experience it, dwell with it with the support of their parents and family. It's critical to the future of the ecology of our planet that they be invested. If we don't have an investment of their resources to our ecology, we won't have people supporting natural resources in the future.
It's definitely a lot better than just not celebrating at all. I think the Earth is very important, so this Earth Day celebration is very special. It definitely helps teach people about the way the Earth works and everything in it.
What made you develop such an interest in the environment and helping the Earth?
Because it's sad to see that people are like polluting areas like this, and it's a nice area to keep, and it's nice to go outside. It just shows how much the environment matters to people around here, and it shows that we should keep it and not like pollute it because it's a nice thing to have.
The kids' interest, if you let them go outside and tear apart a flower and see the different components, or watch a caterpillar climb up and chew and freeze for a while, or just experience the bird calls, it's also important for the children. They develop these relationships and it stays with them for their lifetimes.
Yeah, this is a different era now because they have screens, they have phones, they like to watch cartoons, and a lot of them are staying inside. And also Michigan doesn't, there's many months where it's pretty dark and gloomy, so you don't get the sun. So it's good to be out in the sun. It's good to see other people, see other families, and hang out with others. She actually just saw one of her friends here. So it's good to have a different type of interaction outdoors and get them really in tune with all the different things that they see on a day-to-day basis, but they don't, stop to really think about what they're seeing and witnessing. I encourage everybody to bring their kids out here and, teach them something new and let them engage with some different material. And, there's some furs over there. There was a fox with the fur, so I think it's really cool. They like texture at that age too, so it's a great time. I encourage everyone to come.
Seeing all of the smiling faces out of that event and seeing everybody so intact and everyone so engaged with nature and learning about the environment was such a great thing to see. And a big thank you to West Bloomfield Parks for putting all this together and for celebrating Earth Day the only way they know how. Congratulations are in order to Scotch Elementary School kindergartner Monroe Boren, who was just recently honored with the Superintendent's Excellence Award for the month of April. Monroe was nominated for the award by her teacher, Abigail Howells, as well as Principal James Scrivo. Here's a clip from the recent school board meeting showing Monroe receiving her honor.
Monroe, today we're here to celebrate you, your remarkable growth, kind spirit, and thoughtful leadership. You bring energy, curiosity, and heart into everything you do. Throughout this school year, Monroe has demonstrated tremendous academic, social, and emotional development. Her NWA scores have shown significant growth. She knows the entire alphabet, recognizes sight words, and is becoming a confident reader and writer. She also earned the Responsibility Award at the December Scotch Celebration Assembly. Monroe's leadership is quiet but impactful. She helps classmates, manages classroom jobs with care, and even knows how to use the classroom printer. Well, you can help me with that, Monroe, then. Her actions reflect integrity, hard work, and collaboration, qualities we deeply value in West Bloomfield.
If you're watching on Civic Center TV right now, you can see Monroe walking up and getting her award. Monroe has done a lot of great things throughout this school year, and outside of school, she enjoys things like gymnastics, biking, and even rock climbing, showing compassion and tremendous leadership everywhere that she goes. So a big congratulations to Monroe on this very well-deserved recognition, and you can give your congratulations on the West Bloomfield School District Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. Recently, the West Bloomfield School District finally opened its doors and cut the ribbon on its brand new Transition Center, a fabulous building to provide guidance and education for special needs individuals beyond their high school tenure and teach them some important real-world skills. I got to attend the ceremony and hear from some of the big names involved with this project to hear about its impact on Greater West Bloomfield.
You know, we're very excited about this project and what it means for our students and families. To be able to bring this program on site at the high school is going to allow them a lot of amenities to use that were not available at their previous site. I think all of the spaces are unique and provide our students the experiences they need to be, you know, successful, independent adults as they make their way through. So each space, as you can see, whether it's the lab, the work lab, or the demonstration kitchen, or the apartment setting, it's teaching real life skills and providing them an environment that replicates kind of life outside of school and giving those experiences so that our staff can help, you know, support their independence as they grow older.
It feels absolutely amazing. We've waited several years for this to come to fruition, and so to finally be in this space and showing people around and being able to move all of our things here, it feels absolutely amazing.
What are some of the key things that the Transitional Center is hoping to provide for people here in West Bloomfield?
We want to provide services for students with disabilities who are 19 to 26 years old. We really want to help them with their vocational skills, their community engagement, but also with daily living skills. So we want to make sure that once they leave here at the age of 26, they can be somewhat functional human beings outside of the building.
What's been the response so far from some of the kids and even some of their parents?
They are super excited. I think so far the kitchen is everyone's favorite space. It's so big, it's so beautiful, and they are looking forward to getting in there and really making some awesome recipes.
So we are very fortunate that our school board helped raise this and put this together for us. Yeah, it's very exceptional and unique and very exciting for us. It just lets us know that they value us and that we have a place in this community, and they're excited and open arms to including us.
We could be the gold standard for other districts and their programs. That would be really awesome. I would love for other schools to come in and kind of check out our space and maybe even do the same with them and possibly expand our program even more than it is now.
My hope is that people see is that our community is really dedicated to creating a systems of schools so that each individual is successful within the West Bloomfield School District, that we're really trying to meet the individual needs of each student and providing them with those spaces and opportunities so that they're successful when they leave us.
It's such an amazing thing to see what the West Bloomfield School District is doing in helping these kids beyond their high school years and getting them ready to tackle the world head on. So big thank you to the West Bloomfield School District for allowing me to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Transitional Center and to check it out firsthand. The building is incredible. Just recently, Auk Construction was nominated for a major award for their work in West Bloomfield. Last year, Auk Construction completed new playgrounds for Grechko and Scotch elementary schools in the West Bloomfield School District. The projects were designed to promote inclusive, accessible, and engaging outdoor play for children of all abilities. And this hard work has earned Auk a nomination for the 2025 Build Michigan Award Program for Excellence in Construction. I recently spoke with Auk project manager Russ Ragone to hear all about it. Russ Ragone joining us on The Splash. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Jake.
Really happy to have you with us. First of all, congratulations on the nomination. This is an incredible honor for Construction. Since the completion and unveiling of the playgrounds, what's been the feedback you've received from the school district and the community?
We've received a lot of positive feedback. I mean, the students and the teachers love the playgrounds, the community as well. I mean, very often in the late afternoons when school's out, as well as the weekends, the community children get to come on site and, play on the playground, take advantage of the new structures. They love it.
I'd imagine so. I was there during the ribbon cutting for the Grechko playground when that was unveiled, and it's one of those playgrounds I wish I had when I was in elementary school. I would have had so much fun on that thing. I'm a little too big now, but I'm sure all the kids are having a blast. And
you and me both.
What specific aspects of the playground projects do you think caught the attention of the award committee?
A lot of it was just the involvement with the community, involving just Apple Island being a focal point of the West Bloomfield School District. There's a custom play structure modeled after Apple Island, and then just the extent and safety aspects of the project, making it one of the largest elementary school playground projects in the state.
One of the biggest in the state. That's an incredible milestone and and a great record to have. And what does this nomination mean to you and mean to Construction?
Well, it's an honor, and it really solidifies that Construction is heavily involved with the construction industry. Especially the education sector. We actually get nominated for AGC awards. We have so many projects going on that, including with West Bloomfield right now, we can get into that in a minute, I suppose. But it means a lot to us. It showcases that Construction is heavily involved with the industry local to the Metro Detroit area.
I'm so glad you just talked about that, because AUC has worked with the West Bloomfield School District on several projects, and not just the school district, but all throughout West Bloomfield. How has this partnership with the city and the school district evolved over the years, would you say?
Oh, it's over the years. I mean, it's just, we've been working with West Bloomfield Schools for nearly 20 years on lots of different projects of all different sizes. We've built a trust with West Bloomfield School District. They understand that we are we have a lot of integrity. We're very forthright with the information that we have. The contractors that we work with are of high quality. We're always looking into the owner's best interest, as well as the community. And I think that really has a lot to do with why we continue to work with West Bloomfield School District. They enjoy working with us, and we're providing them with, completing high quality projects for them that the community loves.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have AUC Project Manager Russ Ragone joining us on the Splash to talk about AUC Construction's recent nomination for a Build Michigan Award for their work on constructing the Grechko and Scotch playgrounds. And how does AUC Construction ensure that projects like this one align with the West Bloomfield School District's vision for student development and community engagement?
Well, we work with the architect and the school district to implement surveys to, the staff that are at the school that's involved with any particular project that we're, moving forward with starting up, as well as the community. Like with the playground projects, I mean, there was a lot of community involvement. There were some meetings with the community on, what they wanted to see with the playground, what kind of structures, were there, kids of special needs that need certain types of structures included with the playground project, and not just playground structures, but different areas like, musical playground area. Some of the playgrounds have more open space for, kids to play on grassy areas and things like that. So it's not just the playground, like traditional structures that you see in these playgrounds, but extensively also larger play areas. and greenscapes.
Wow, a lot of great things that are developing with the school district, and a lot of great resources that come with these immersive playgrounds that have taken home at Gretschko and Scotch. And given the success of these playgrounds, Russ, does AUK have any upcoming projects planned with West Bloomfield School District that you can disclose?
Yes, absolutely. So actually, we just turned over the transitions program over at the West Bloomfield High School. That was a great success, and we had the ribbon cutting, I believe it was just a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
So that's to help with the high school students and community with transitioning from into society. We also are actively working on the new Chico Elementary School. And then in design development and planning, we have the new Doherty Elementary School, as well as a STEM edition at West Bloomfield High School.
Awesome. AUK is keeping busy and working all throughout West Bloomfield and helping the school district. And of course, I'm sure the AUK team is celebrating this nomination the best way they can. What does this mean for your company's future in the industry?
Well, every year, I mean, we've been growing in the industry, especially in the education sector. We're currently working with, I believe it's 16, 17 different school districts across the state of Michigan. And our successes and our quality of work are, just the trustworthiness that we have with the school districts. We're being recommended from school districts to work with other districts, which is contributing to our growth. And is just showcasing that AUK is just a solid construction management firm for the education sector, as well as other sectors that we work in, healthcare and some others, municipal sectors, and making a statement into the construction industry in Metro Detroit that AUK should be considered, and we'd love to work with other communities.
Awesome. Russ, thank you so much for joining us on The Splash. Just a couple more quick questions before we let you go. What do you think makes AUK, I think you touched on this a little bit a second ago, what do you think makes AUK Construction such a trusted partner for the school district, and how did that trust play a role in the success of these projects?
Well, I would say a big part of it is our vast experience, and we do what we need to, what we say we're going to do. We complete projects on time, under budget many times, and I think we just build trust, with not just school districts, but also private sector entities, with their projects. And, with the building of trust and just our experience, that's really, paved the way for us.
It certainly has. Russ, any final words you want to say in regards to the nomination and your feelings on everything?
Well, I just want to thank you and West Bloomfield School District. I loved working with West Bloomfield School District. I look forward to working with them in the future. Just happy to be part of the community. Thank you very much for having me today.
Lots of great news with AUK Construction. A big congratulations for their recent nomination for the Build Michigan Award program. Hope to see them take it home, and hope to see continued work throughout all of West Bloomfield to continue to make the school district and everybody here in the community that much better. This weekend will provide a chance for the greater West Bloomfield community to help take care and clean up our roads with the Adopt a Road cleanup event. The event will be starting at 9 a.m. on the dot, so bright and early, and the meeting place will be at the West Bloomfield Fire Station number 1, just off of Orchard Lake Road. Fire Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department joins us now on the Splash Live to tell us more. Greg, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Really, really good. So happy to have you with us, and really excited to be getting into this conversation because this program has been going on for quite some time. How long has the West Bloomfield Fire Department been involved in this kind of community cleanup effort?
Well, the great thing about this is it's highlighting my membership, if you will, as one of the members of the community with the Optimist Club, and so really by virtue of me being a member of the Optimist and my role here with the fire department, it really marries the sense of community together and brings that civic group together with just the location for parking and kind of assembling to do the cleanup. But this really is the Optimist Club and the opportunity for anyone to join with the Optimists and create a brighter, more beautiful landscape along that Orchard Lake Road from Pontiac Trail all the way down to Walnut Lake. And we've been doing this now, Jake, for boy, I've been involved with it for the past 5 years, and they've had that road adopted for longer than that. But we try to do a spring and a fall cleanup and just keep that section of road looking clean.
That's right, and that's what everybody wants. You want to make sure that every area of Greater West Bloomfield looks clean and, more importantly, safe for everybody who's driving along the road. And you touched on this just a little bit a second ago, but what impact have previous cleanup events had on the local area and community morale?
Well, the spring cleanup is typically the biggest because this is over the winter months, everything that kind of the snow plows and things that have collected, the spring winds and all of that kind of push a lot of things off, just off the road and into some of the brush and stuff just outside of the sidewalk. So I will tell you, years ago, 5-6 years ago when we first started, the bags were numbered 30, 40 bags of trash in that over a mile stretch of road. Our last cleanup, I think our total bags were somewhere around 11. So clearly the impact of regular cleanup in these areas reduces the amount of trash. And I think that's the big takeaway. The regular upkeep of these roadways makes for just a very brief outdoor come together, do a quick cleanup, and we can keep that stretch of road looking great. And many hands make that work very, very light to do when we're out and about like that.
You are absolutely right. And as I said a moment ago, this is taking place this Saturday, and it's going to be starting at 9 a.m., very, very early. But I was at the event last year, and I saw lots of people coming out. What do you expect the turnout to be this year for this event?
Well, Saturday mornings are valuable to everybody, especially those that work the Monday through Friday. So we do understand that. We hope that the 9 a.m. is not too early so that it's not discouraging, but early enough where you can come out and maybe donate 75 to 90 minutes of your time and get a nice walk in. The weather, I think, from what I'm looking at, Jake, looks like a nice 60 for the high. So I'm expecting in the morning we'll probably be in the high 40s, mid 50s. So very comfortable to be out and about. We've had pretty dry weather, so I'm not expecting it to be wet. And it really is just a great opportunity, young and old, families to come out. And what we'll do is we'll assemble at Fire Station 1, so it's a great opportunity as well to get a quick peek at those fire trucks that belong to the community. And then we split up and we send some groups north to Pontiac Trail and make the loop back. And when they get back, we just ask them to, if they're yellow vests or they're reflective vests, put them back in the container, and then they're free to go. So it really is a work at your own pace, and when you're done, you're done. And it's just a great, great opportunity to get out. That longer stretch going from Fire Station 1 down to Walnut Lake, that is a little bit more of a walk. But again, sidewalks on the east side of the road. The west side is more so a grassy area and some stretches of just kind of natural landscape, if you will.
That's right, but there's a lot of area to cover, and by splitting up the group, you can cover way more ground and help pick up a lot more trash. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Fire Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department telling us about the Adopt a Road spring cleanup event that's going to be taking place this Saturday at 9 a.m. Now, of course, with events like these and with handling a lot of trash on the ground, of course, there can be some things that might be a little harmful and might be a little dangerous to handle. So are there any safety precautions or guidelines volunteers should be aware of before participating?
Well, the biggest thing, two things, Jake. We're going to provide the reflective, high visibility vests for everyone. We have lots of those that the Road Commission, Oakland County Road Commission, provides to the club as part of our agreement for the cleanup. We provide the orange trash bags that Oakland County will be looking for to pick up along the road. So what we would like you to bring is comfortable footwear that can make it into tall grass or wet grass, so something that's appropriate for that, and your own gloves. While we may have a few pair of gloves, finding a set of gloves that fits your hands and all of those kinds of things that are comfortable can be a little bit challenging. So the right footwear and the right gloves, and then by all means, whatever coat or sweatshirt or hoodie you want to wear based on the temperature that day. And we encourage layers, because as you're moving out and about and the morning progresses, it's likely to get warmer. But I think those are all things that people that enjoy West Bloomfield for the parks and the trails and the outdoor side of things, I think they're very well versed in that. And it's just going to be a great morning. We hope to see many volunteers and potentially, as an Optimist Club member, an opportunity for people to explore what it's like to be part of the Optimist Club and maybe consider some membership opportunities and joining us for other events like our holiday happiness event that the Splash has covered that we do right around the holiday. So more opportunities to just learn more about the Optimists as well.
Of course, get a chance to see what they do for the community and possibly join them in helping out and supporting their mission. So Greg, with working alongside these roads, I'm curious, what are some of the most common types of litter and debris that you tend to come across during these cleanup events?
Oh, I think it's our fast food packaging is the most. So lids, and it depends on where we are. You know, there's certain stretches where there's certain, and I'm not blaming these commercial districts, but where there might be more traffic and just more people loading or unloading things, you know, near grocery stores and stuff. You know, our friends at Kroger do a great job of cleaning that area up, but the wind blows things and moves things around. So anytime we're in a commercial area, there seems to be just a little bit more of the candy wrappers and stuff like that. And then along the wider stretches, it really does seem to be that some people make some poor choices in allowing some of that fast food debris, the wrappings and packaging to blow out. Aside from that, I would say construction type stuff, the things that maybe were in the back of a service vehicle or a construction vehicle and just kind of broke loose and blew out of the back of a pickup or other large vehicle. And that's what we do. We're there to pick that up and keep West Bloomfield beautiful.
That's great, and that's awesome to hear of what you're doing to help clean up this community. Now, we're going to be seeing probably a wide variety of residents stopping by to helping to pick up the trash. I want to know, how do you engage younger members of the community, like the kiddos, in events like this and getting them excited about taking care of the environment?
Well, I find it a little challenging to keep up with them because often they want to find the trash first. And so they tend to get out front and locate all of it, which makes a job for someone like me a lot easier. But we like to keep our eyes on them. I think it's a great opportunity to teach safety and what we refer to in the fire service as situational awareness, you know, understanding the flow of traffic, understanding kind of when it would be appropriate to grab something from the curb and not try to put yourself in harm's way. But these are all opportunities to teach our youth how to be smart around these areas and not to be afraid of them. And I think maybe even some of our words here, we're making it sound a little more dramatic than what it is. It really is a great opportunity for families to engage. But if they are younger kids, Jake, we really do want an adult that is familiar with that child. So this isn't a drop off a young child and then assume that we're going to have people to keep an eye on them. People show up, and at 9 a.m., most people are ready to go, and we're starting to send groups out. So, you know, by 9:10, 9:15, if you show up at the fire station, you're likely to already see those yellow vests in motion, making their way up and down Orchard Lake Road. And I would make the offer too, if there's a stretch of road that you have and you want to stop in and grab a couple of those orange bags to pick up trash, be happy to accommodate that as long as folks can be there, just before at that 9 a.m. hour. Because anywhere we can pick up trash in Oakland County is going to really help move things along and keep it beautiful.
That's absolutely right. And you're certainly right about making sure that someone is there to watch the kids, because keep in mind, you're going to be working right alongside a very busy road. You don't want anybody running in between traffic and risking something else horrible happening. Greg, really appreciate this conversation. One more question before we let you go. Is there a long-term goal for these cleanup efforts here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Well, I think there's a few of them. The one I would share with you, Jake, is that it's our community, and it's important to instill the values of the role that each and every one of us play in the greater view of our community. And so we take a lot of pride in our front and backyards, or the view of the lake, or your pool, or just the natural scenery of West Bloomfield. But we also have a commitment to the areas and these public spaces and open spaces that we all travel through, and to invest an hour of your time once or twice a year to that cause and be outside and getting exercise and meeting other people in the community seems like a pretty good return on an investment. So we hope that's a long-term goal of it, and bringing out the best in the community, and that's what the Optimists are all about.
That's right. Lots of great opportunities to come from such a simple event like helping to clean up the roads. Greg, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
You bet. Take care.
You too. One more reminder for everybody. This event is going to be taking place this Saturday at 9 a.m. So make sure you're there bright and early and ready to help clean up Greater West Bloomfield. We're just getting started here on the Splash Live. Plenty of other great stories and interviews to get into right after this break. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
So much is happening in your community. Join Jake, Tyler, and Kevin for local events and developments on the Splash Live, weekdays at 10 a.m. on CivicCenterTV.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at CivicCenterTV.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Calling all reading lovers, Independent Bookstore Day at Schuler Books West Bloomfield is set for Saturday, April 26th, and features giveaways, story time, and author signings. There will also be a golden ticket hunt, allowing customers to win 12 free audiobook credits. One golden ticket is hidden at each store. Here to tell us more about the event is Marketing Coordinator for Schuler Books, Elizabeth Boscher. Good morning.
Good morning.
Really happy to have you with us. Always love hearing about ways to get the community excited about reading. First question for you. How does each indie bookstore choose to celebrate in their own way? And how well does Schuler Books celebration look different than other bookstores?
Yeah, Independent Bookstore is a wonderful celebration day that happens all across the country at all of your favorite independent bookstores. And every independent bookstore chooses to celebrate in their own unique way. And I think kind of all of our goals is to highlight and celebrate our individual personalities in this day and be able to kind of thank our customers for choosing local, choosing independent, and supporting us throughout the rest of the year. So at Schuler Books, we're choosing to kind of pass off some of that thanks through giveaways, making sure we have lots of fun freebies for our customers, as well as featuring and highlighting local authors and signed books and things like that we have in store.
Awesome. Love hearing about all these great ways to educate everybody on what you got at Schuler. And what role do you think local bookstores like Schuler play in shaping the reading culture here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Yeah, I think this could be true of any independent bookstore, but what sets us apart from any experience you might have online shopping for books is that we have the personality and the staff that are going to be giving you custom recommendations and real-time feedback and conversations around books. And so our staff work really hard to create displays and increase discoverability of books they think you're going to love. And we often get the chance to kind of look around our community and say, what else is going on? What can we pair a book with that? And partner with other organizations in the community. All of this creates a really personal experience that you're only going to find in Schuler Books West Bloomfield that is really custom and unique to our community.
You're certainly right. And the theme this year is going to add to that excitement. There's going to be a Reader Fever disco theme for the event. How did that theme come to be, and what do you hope it adds to the experience?
Yeah, our brilliant graphic designer came up with that logo and that theme. We're just trying to have a party. We're just trying to have fun. There's not a ton too deep about it. We kind of came across this idea of a book disco a few years ago, and it captured our imagination. And we've kind of been playing with other ideas of how to play on that. And so this year, when we were talking about what feels really fun and captures the party spirit, cure your reader fever at the book disco felt like a fun way to do that.
This seems like the perfect prescription to handle reader fever. For those just joining us right now on The Splash, we have marketing coordinator for Schuler Books, Elizabeth Boscher, here to tell us about Independent Bookstore Day with Schuler Books in West Bloomfield. And April 26th is the date to keep in mind, but that's also going to be the starting date for the Michigan Book Hop. What can you tell us about that and how it encourages community exploration of other indie bookstores across Michigan?
Yeah, the Michigan Book Hop is in its third year. It's a pretty simple concept. We recruited a bunch of bookstores across the state. There's about 70 involved. That we've made these bingo cards. I guess I say we, there's a committee that has made these bingo cards that encourage customers to participate in some fun bookish activities and visit the bookstores in their area. And obviously there's a chance to win prizes. So throughout the next month, starting on Indie Bookstore Day and going through the 26th of the next month, you can pick up your bingo card at any participating bookstore. Complete some activities, visit some bookstores, get those squares marked off, and then turn it back in for a prize. And we're just encouraging people to maybe they're familiar with their local bookstore, but they don't know all the other bookstores in their area. So encouraging people to explore new stores and to kind of get out of their comfort zone in that way. And it's a way for us as an indie bookstore to support other indie bookstores. We really do believe that when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And so we're trying to cheer each other on and celebrate those wins for each other and get customers a great experience along the way.
I love hearing about that, helping the other bookstores. You're all working together with the same goal to help highlight and to help promote reading throughout Greater West Bloomfield. And another way that you're doing that is to highlight and host local authors. And why is it important to be doing that for authors like Bill Morris and Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw during this celebration?
Yeah, we wouldn't have books without authors. And so it seems kind of silly to make it as simple as that, but anytime that we can support and celebrate our local authors is a really big win for us. Our local authors is what is also another way that makes us unique from other bookstores, other places in the country, and we want to celebrate really that our community through our authors.
You are absolutely right. And I'm curious, how does Schuler Books work with families and young readers in West Bloomfield, especially through some events like Storytime with Grace?
Yeah, every one of our locations, including West Bloomfield, does a weekly story time. So West Bloomfield, it's Saturdays at 11. And there's a lot of research around how introducing kids to books and reading early and often is the best way to promote literacy and to encourage a lifelong love of reading. And so we want to do whatever we can to encourage that with families, and weekly story times is one of those ways, and those are always free to attend. Bring your kiddo along, hear a story, do a craft, and participate in that way.
Lots of great things for the kids to enjoy with Schuler Books. Elizabeth, I got one more question for you before we let you go. What's your message to first-time visitors or non-readers who might be curious about what makes Independent Bookstore Day so special in a place like West Bloomfield?
Yeah. So it's not new. A new message is that supporting local businesses is important, but I also want to add that showing up in person is not only good for us and the health of our business, but we hope that it's also good for you. Bookstores are a place to find connection and community, empowerment, education, and a lot of fun. By coming to our store and participating in events like Indie Bookstore Day, we hope that you're getting as much out of the experience as we are. Also, if it's been a while since you've picked up a book, we are strong believers that while not every book is for every reader, there is a book out there for you that you will love, and we would be honored to help you find it. All reading is good reading, and the benefits are priceless for all ages.
That's right. All reading is good reading. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you so much.
A great chance for everybody here in the greater West Bloomfield community to head out to Schuler Books or any independent bookstore and support this next month, the Independent Bookstore Month starting on April 26th. Real ID chances may affect your spring and summer travel plans. The Real ID deadline is May 7th, 2025. After this date, travelers must present a Real ID compliant form of identification to board domestic flights in the U.S. Without Real ID, you may be turned away at security or subjected to extensive identity verification. Here with more info is travel agent Kim Oderkirk with Association Services, Stellar Events, and Travel. Kim, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Really, really good. Happy to have you with us for this very important topic. How are you helping Greater West Bloomfield travelers prepare for the Real ID deadline in May of 2025?
Well, I tell them that they need to get it. Most people think it's only for travel, but also federal buildings will not allow you to enter unless you have that Real ID, which is the star at the upper right corner. And it's all states require it. It's not just the Michigan thing. It's not just West Bloomfield. All states will require it. The District of Columbia and all 5 territories. So make sure you have that Real ID. Also, to go to the Secretary of State, you need to take your passport. If you don't have your passport, you need to get a passport, or you need to go on the site for Secretary of State and see what documents you can use to get that Real ID.
All right, great tidbits to keep in mind. And I'm curious, what kind of questions do you tend to get from local clients who are concerned about ID requirements for summer travel?
Well, some of them are like, well, I don't have it. But if you have a passport, you can always use your passport to board any flight to get into federal buildings. So most of them are asking me, why do I need it? What's the deadline? Again, it's May 7th, so it's coming up pretty quick. So those are kinds of the main questions, why do I need it and when do I have to have it by?
All right, yes, of course, keep big questions to keep in mind. Now, of course, a lot of families are going to be traveling possibly with young kids who might not be aware of what any of this is, and possibly seniors who might have forgotten to refill out these forms a while back. How do you work with families, especially those traveling with kids or seniors, to ensure that everyone is travel ready?
Right. So if you're under 18, you don't need a Real ID. You just need the parent to have one. For seniors, you need to, go to Secretary of State, or you can call them. You can renew passports online now, which is new. So especially if you have one already and you just need to renew it, do it online. It'll be a lot faster and you'll get it quicker. Passports can take anywhere from 4 to 10 weeks, depending on the government. And you want to, the biggest tick I tell my people is make sure your passport is good 6 months after you want to get back into the United States. I've seen people stopped at the airport because their passport doesn't go out far enough for them to get back into the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, these are very, very important things to keep in mind. That's something I didn't even think about. And for residents who haven't updated to Real ID yet, what's your advice on making the process smooth and stress-free?
Find out where your local Secretary of State office is, make an appointment. I've had mine for a long time, so I haven't been to the Secretary of State lately, but they were taking appointments. And then read to see what documents you need. If you have a passport, I think you're good to go. If you don't, you have to have an original birth certificate. You have to have your Social Security card. You have to have 2 documents that prove you live in Michigan and your address. So a lot more hoops if you don't have that passport. But make sure you get it done.
Of course. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have travel agent Kim Oderkirk talking to us about the importance of updating your Real ID, because the Real ID deadline is on May 7th of 2025. Now, are you seeing any changes in travel plans locally due to Real ID awareness or confusion?
I have not seen any. Most people, when they renewed their license, it automatically renewed to a Real ID. So most people have it. I've only talked to one person that didn't, and I said, well, you better make your appointment and go get it. Even if you don't travel, like I said, federal buildings are going to require you to show that. So if you're trying to get into a federal courthouse or, anything TSA, or, I don't know what other buildings, but, you're going to have to check that location and see if you are required to show a Real ID.
Of course. Now, it seems like we're coming up on a very, very big travel season. Maybe people might be taking a late spring break trip or possibly an early Memorial Day weekend. What travel tips do you have for West Bloomfield residents who may be booking trips around that time and who might be a little concerned about the deadline?
Well, again, passport works for everything. So, hopefully you have your passport. If you're going domestic, you don't need to worry about the 6 months, but you can still use your passport to get on any flight. And then, like I said, if you know you're going to travel, you make your appointment at Secretary of State, get your Real ID, and just make sure you're in compliance.
Of course. And then, Kim, in your role as a travel advisor, how can you help community members avoid some last-minute issues at big TSA checkpoints, especially those who might be unaware of some of the new rules?
Well, TSA, so if you want to get through, get past that long TSA line, make sure you have a known traveler's number. So it's an $85 fee. You go in, they do your fingerprints, and then you can go through the TSA line. I know in the next 5 years, I'm actually going to travel out of the country. I want to go to Australia. So my husband and I, we did global entry. That's $120 each, but that lets me go through a faster line. It lets me do faster customs to come back into the country. Most of it's all about getting back into the United States, not so much as leaving the country. So that's what you want to make sure. Anybody going on a cruise, some people are confused about cruises. Always take your passport on a cruise. I don't care if you're, U.S. city to U.S. city. Any of those ports that require a passport will require that cruise to have a passport.
Of course, always have your passport on you for any form of travel. That's what I think, at least. Kim, thank you so much.
And carry it on you, Jake, too. Don't leave it in your hotel room or anything. Make sure you have that passport on you. If you have a problem in another country, you want to be able to get home.
Of course, absolutely. Kim, thank you so much for joining us here on The Splash. One more question before we let you go. Where can people go to gain a little more information about the deadline and what to do?
Okay, so I looked that up. And it is travel.state.gov.
All right, very important website to make sure that you are up to date on all of the information. Kim, thank you so much for joining us on The Splash.
Thanks, Jake.
Happy to have this conversation, especially around such an important travel season as spring is carrying on and summer is not too far away. Once again, the Real ID deadline is on May 7th. Lots of other things to get into right after this quick commercial break here on The Splash Live. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Hi, I'm Marcia Gershenson, and I'm one of the Oakland County Commissioners that's lucky enough to represent West Bloomfield. And I'd like to congratulate Civic Center TV on having 1 million viewers on YouTube. I mean, that's incredible. Your viewpoint and your authenticity is so valuable. So congratulations on 1 million views. I'm proud to be one in a million.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. In a couple weeks, West Bloomfield Township will be holding an open house to discuss their master plan for the Greater West Bloomfield community. The open house will be taking place on Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. Updates like these are always important for the community, but it also begs the question on what exactly a master plan is and why is it so important. Brian Kesey, the senior principal planner for McKenna, recently came on The Splash Live to answer that question and more. Brian Kesey joining us right now. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us and interested to get into this conversation. What can you tell us about what this master plan is? What is the master plan and why is it necessary?
Yeah, the master plan is a document for the township that talks about specifically land use policy and shapes the vision for what you want to see in terms of residential uses, commercial uses, industrial where it makes sense, things like that. So we're developing policy for the township that can eventually be turned into regulation so that we can hopefully encourage the development that the township is seeking in the future.
Interesting. And you gather all this information from talking to the residents of the community. And what have been some of the things that the residents have wanted to see here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Yeah, so we completed about the end of 2024 an online survey and collected responses from residents, business owners, property owners, and even those that just work in the community and live elsewhere. We've heard a variety of things relating to more housing options, a concern for needing to develop some affordable options so that people can move to the township and continue their lives in the township. We've heard a lot of demand for additional restaurants and activity centers along Orchard Lake. And amenities for families with younger children. So those are the big topics. I'd also say that one of the things that we learned is the preservation of natural resources, one of the things that drives people to the township and continues to be. And so everybody almost across the board really placed an emphasis on the importance of maintaining that moving forward as we continue to develop and add more services.
Of course, it's always a great priority to keep those natural resources safe. And gathering all of this information, how does the collected info impact how this master plan is formed for West Bloomfield?
Yeah, we will summarize all the feedback that we have gotten to date. We still are doing some individual interviews with, we're planning to meet with the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater West Bloomfield Faith Alliance. So we still have some work to do, but we will be gathering and summarizing all of the comments where there are trends that we can incorporate into the plan. In terms of goals and objectives, we will certainly do that.
Joining us right now on The Splash, we have Brian Kesey, the Senior Principal Planner of McKenna, talking about the master plan process with West Bloomfield and what it's like to be gathering this information from the residents and executing it properly to the city. And you're also working with a lot of big developers here in West Bloomfield. How does that factor in with working with township officials on constructing the master plan, within working with these big developers?
Yeah, we have had some individual interviews with the residential development companies that are frequently doing work within the township and trying to understand what is working, what is slowing them down in the development process, and trying to get a better understanding of how we as the township can improve processes to help support some of the housing options that we need and anticipate. And working with them to communicate some of the amenities that the township, the boards and planning commission expect when those projects come before the township for approval.
And in working with some of these big developers like Apex Apartments and Town Court Apartments on Orchard Lake Road, what might that lead to as we see in the future for developments?
Those projects that are already completed are good models for the amenities that we hope to see in that particular area, especially along Orchard Lake. The township already includes some requirements for points of interest, things like public art, benches, pedestrian amenities, things like that, that we anticipate those to be incorporated into additional developments as they come online.
Interesting. And one of the other big things that you guys are talking about a lot, or the Planning Commission has discussed a lot, is an Orchard Lake corridor in the town center district. How critical is that area to the future of township planning, would you say?
I think it's already been identified as the heart, if you will, of activity within the township, and will continue to need to be. We've spoken with the Planning Commission, and several of those commissioners felt it very important for us to develop some activity nodes along that corridor to encourage people within the township and even outside of the township to come visit and spend time.
That's absolutely right. You want to make sure you bring everyone right here to Greater West Bloomfield and enjoy everything that it has to offer. Now, there is a timeline in place with the master plan. How is it looking right now, and how would you say you guys are in terms of keeping that pace right now?
Yeah, so when we started this project, it was approximately a 12-month timeline from initiation to when we hope to have the plan adopted. I mentioned we finished up the online engagement at the end of the year, finishing up some of these individual interviews to collect public feedback, and then we'll start drafting over the next couple months. So our hope is to have a draft of the plan to the Planning Commission in late April, maybe early May. At that point in time, we'll make some adjustments. We'll talk about specifics that need to be incorporated into the plan. And then we'll follow the state guidelines for publishing notice and requesting additional feedback from the public. So once the Planning Commission sees the draft and are happy with it, they will make a recommendation to the Township Board to send that out for public comment. And then there's a 63-day, so about a 2-month period of time where the township is open to collect feedback from the public. So we hope that the residents, business owners all continue to do that and monitor that plan and provide us some feedback on if we have hit the mark and what other things that we should consider before the plan goes to final adoption. So that would put us on pace later this fall to formally adopt the full plan.
All right, great to hear about all of these updates. And how can the residents of West Bloomfield continue to get involved in helping with this master plan and helping you guys along?
Yeah, we have a website. It's www.westbloomfieldplans.com. You can also connect to that website through the planning department page on West Bloomfield Township's website. We are posting updates to the schedule, next steps, draft text as it will become available will go onto that website. So that is our hub for information for the plan.
All right, great information to have out there. Brian, any additional information you could provide for us before we let you go?
No, we just encourage our residents to keep an eye on the plan, provide feedback, however you feel is appropriate. We do have contact information on that website, and we're happy to listen.
All right, well, we can't wait to see what's to come in the next few months right here in West Bloomfield. Brian, thank you so much for your time today on The Splash.
Thank you for having me, Jake.
Everyone's input is important to helping this township become even greater, and you have a chance to do so very soon when the Master Plan Open House is set to take place on Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. But that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on this team for helping to make this show as incredible as it is every single day. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.